Friends, happy Monday. Welcome back into the Golden Tee Lounge. It is time to start another week with this week's Monday Mix-Up. We're kicking it back to the 2020 courses. You are looking at Oakwood Hills. Forgot I played closest to the pin and was using darts. So before I throw both myself and you guys off, let's switch back to the grabbers. Still too stubborn to switch to Titans, but that's all right. So this week's Monday Mix-Up, GoldenTee.com/locations to find a 2021 game near you. Kicking things off with a par 5 and an opportunity for you to get a nice little eagle here. Let's take a look at the holes for today. This is number 16. So, kicking it off with a somewhat, I don't want to say difficult hole, but this one is sometimes a very easy opportunity, just like this one, and other times it can actually be a much, much harder attempt to get eagle on that hole. But at least for today's contest, no worries, just straight eagle action. And then we go from one par 5 to another. This is hole number 4. A little bit even easier of a par 5 because it's from the beginning of the course, so not too many drastic changes. Again, pretty short look here, so very easy for you to take your 9-iron, just like I'm going to do right here, and drop it in the cup for double eagle. Damn it, almost had it. $900 in the prize pool today. If you have not played the daily contest before on an arcade Golden Tee, it is the same pins, same wins, same tees, whether you play the course one time throughout the day or 100 times. So this is a really good teaching tool if you are playing Golden Tee by yourself, or if you've got a group of players at your local watering hole or restaurant. That is number 11, the par 3. But I say it's a really good teaching tool because if you play it more than once, and you'll see that here, even on a shot like that last par 3. Okay, I had a pretty decent shot on it. I just didn't hit that 6-wood hard enough. Well, when you go to game 2, you know you can put a little bit more oomph on it and try to get that hole-in-one. Oh, I was really looking forward to that dropping in the cup, but that's all right. This is a scoreable course. There is also a drivable par 5, so that's something that you need to be aware of. In first place right now is a 32 under, which means somebody's out there early playing, banging away at this course. But it also, you have to remember, this course has that drivable par 5. So that 32, if you're a newer player and you're used to shooting 15s or 16s or even lower, that 32 under is not as scary because so far after, 5 holes, these setups are actually pretty good for holing out. So if you play a couple of games in them, you might get a few of them to drop. Hole number 6 is hole 15, a par 4 that in a very few rare times is actually drivable. We've seen hole-in-ones on here. This is not the setup for it at all. But again, 102 yards off the fairway for a chance to drop in for eagle. You got to be careful, which is why I use bite instead of backspin with my super spin clubs. You don't want to drive off in the water because then you're guaranteeing yourself bogey with the drop spot that you will get. All right, hole number 7. This is actually hole 18. A little bit of a strong wind for such an early spot in the round, but honestly, I don't know if you could ask for a better setup. I'm going to push this 5-wood. I don't want to hit it too hard because there is that big bunker that is a real pain to get out of and on the green, especially when on the backside, chipping up on this green gives you a down slope. So you have some room to work with, but you got to be careful here. But honestly, my hope is we're just going to throw this straight up there and it's going to roll right into the cup. I did not get as much of that 10-mile-an-hour wind, but this should be pretty easy for you guys and gals out there. especially with it being in that hole 7 spot. Moving on to number 8, this is actually hole number 7 when it comes to the original course. Nice little par 3. Now you gotta, this is, okay. That was a little too cute. I was trying to get the ace, I will admit that. I am using grabbers, so if you're using stouts, that wind is cut in half, so you gotta be careful. I would much rather have a putt on the right-hand side of the green versus a wet ball that I have to chip for for par, much less bogey. Now, number 9, this is another par 3, hole 13. This one changes pretty significantly across the board, and it's with the tee box selection. This one, because you have that elevation change, is why I'm clubbing up to the 5-wood, and I'm hoping to hit it soft enough. I just want to land it anywhere on the green, to be honest. Those bunkers are not terrible to chip out of, but again, it's par 3, so you don't have a lot of opportunities to save your par there. All right, hole 10. This is hole number 1. Not a drivable look here. This is kind of one of those that every so often you get a nice drivable look. But 102 yards out of the deep rough with a little bit of roll. Good opportunity for holing out, getting those great shot points, building up that score to try to get part of that $900 prize pool. All right, hole number 11 is hole number 3. One of the longer looks there from Oakwood's first par 3. I'm not one to bang out games on the daily contest, even before I was working here at IT. But honestly, after 11 holes, there's not a lot of bad looks here. This really could be a fun course to chase after. I mean, even this hole, number 12, which is originally hole 14, you know, I'm going to chip this just to be safe and probably miss it. But even that one, being able to cut around the trees and take advantage of that wind blowing in your face, a lot easier than trying to high tee it over those trees and hoping you don't hit it too short, too soft. Now, this is probably the toughest look we've had so far. Hole number 13. This is originally number 6. This is a drivable par 4 that, with the new tee boxes from last year's courses, sometimes is not drivable. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going for it because why not? Part of me is torn because I'd love to just high tee this driver here and go right at it, take advantage of that wind. But part of me also knows that if I don't get it there or I mishit the trackball, I'm going dead in the water. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right to left because I'm fighting that 8-mile-an-hour wind. At worst, I'm on the rough, that hilly rough to the right-hand side. At best, this bounces off of the rough and goes in the hole, or does that and we have a 4-yard putt off the fringe for eagle. So again, it really just depends on how comfortable you are basically manhandling the trackball and just smashing it to try to get it as far as you can. And then hole 14 here, this is number 2, another drivable par 4. This is probably the hardest look I've ever seen on this one. But again, not a lot of green to work with behind the pin. But if you just take advantage of that 13-mile-an-hour wind and don't worry about putting on this green because it's pretty simple, you have a down one that's going to become a left one. And it becomes a pretty manageable putt, even if you're farther out to the left-hand side there. And then hole 15 is number 8, the drivable par 4, or excuse me, drivable par 5. This one's actually, in my opinion, it's tough. It's only 314. My biggest challenge, because it's a front pin, is do I punch the 10.5-degree driver with backspin and no tee, hoping it gets over? Do I do it with the 3-wood? I might do that. Or do I just play it safe? You've got plenty of green to work with behind you. You could high tee a 3-wood and chip in for double eagle. You got to be careful because I've done this before. Out of that rough behind the green, chip a 5 hybrid. I feel comfortable with it. It's going to go right in for double eagle, and then boop, goes to the left or the right, and then drops in the water. So I am going to just hit this 3-wood really, really, really hard. The other thing you got to remember too is that it is a much more elevated surface, but it looks like as long as you get it over 140, you should be safe with the 3 wood there. So you get that double eagle in. Look at that. We're already at 24 with 3 holes left to go. Number 16 is number 5. I mean, honestly, I want you guys to go out there and play as much as you can. But, excuse me, this, I don't know how much easier some of these setups can get outside of putting you 3 feet away from the cup. The winds, the pins, even clicking left and right sets you up pretty cleanly. All right, number 10. This is a par 5. This one, because it's hole 17, a little bit trickier because you've got that 15-mile-an-hour wind in the face, which means you're going to have to pound that, hit pretty hard to get it up there. But once you get it on the fairway, it should be very easy to manage after that. Because this hole drops down a little bit and we got the 15-mile-an-hour wind, no spin for me. Just going to let that roll down to the cup. Really would have liked great shot points there, but that's all right. Just a bit outside for that. All right, and then hole 18. This is number 9. Another par 4 that is drivable all the time. Slight, very, very slight elevation change going up to that green. This is where you got to be careful because 3 wood is going to come in there hot. It may skip off the water or it may just drop right in. So since we have a really good game going, I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm going to crush a 5 wood with backspin. I'm going to take full advantage of that massive green that we've got going back there, and just let that ball roll back towards the cup, and then boom, putting in for eagle. I got to be honest, one of my favorite setups so far of the last couple of weeks of Monday Mix-Up, 30 under. Every eagle we've got, we've got the drivable par 5, we've got double eagle on that. I'm not surprised that 32 under is the top score, even though it's still pretty early in the day, because these setups are pretty juicy, and I expect a lot of people to get out there, shoot a 28, 29, 30, and then play a few more, and hole out a couple of those par 3s. Even some of those drivable par 4s set up pretty darn nice for Monday Mix-Up here at Oakwood Hill. So thanks for joining me in the Golden Tee Lounge. See you guys again tomorrow as we take a look at all the other contests we've got going on. The remastered Par 3 Classic event, Classic Course of the Week, Freaky Friday, Throwback Thursday, all kinds of stuff that we'll be talking about all week long, including the 2022 World Championships. So we'll see you guys soon.